Can you believe it's already day 3 of my self-growth challenge in my self-development journey to step into the new and true me and silence the unwanted parts of the old me for good by focusing on feeling good and coaching myself each and every day. So you know the drill. If you don't, just watch this video and get to know everything you need to know. Here are my reflections from day 3. So day 3 already, huh? Time flies in good company. Today is Monday. You want to join and say hi, buddy? No, maybe not, but just do it anyway. Look how cute she is. Yes, you are so cute. Oh, don't act shy. I know you love being on the camera. Anywho, day 3, Monday. I wouldn't say that today was very eventful, neither while referring to what's going on in the inside or on the outside. I did get up at around 5 and went to the gym. Hooray, I made it by using the same technique as I did yesterday. And then at 7 a.m. it was about time for me to get on the bus to the office where I'm currently working as a consultant. And the thing is, my bus ride is over an hour. And that would be something that was very easy for me to get annoyed about before, because it is a long ride and I do spend more than 2 hours getting back and forth from the job. But I have learned to see it as me time, you know? I have 1 hour. I don't have to pay attention to anything. I can fall asleep, I can listen to some music, I can stare out the window, just breathe and choose to view it as a calm and nice start of my day, right? And so what I like to do, that I've actually been doing for a while now, is that I put on this 10-minute kind of meditation on YouTube from, I think it's Daily Calm, and I have a very active mind and a very vivid imagination, which means that when I try to listen to guided meditations, Mama can't have none of that, okay? Because what they do in guided meditations is that they ask you to see this and do this and go there and feel that, and most of the time I'm already doing something else before they're telling me what to do, so that is not working for me. But I do love finding ways to quiet my mind, especially since I have a very active or maybe even overactive mind. So I see the importance in that, and I do think that it's very important to find these moments during the day to just be able to quiet the mind for a bit, because that's when impulses and ideas can come to us, and also we can stop momentums from worries or overthinking, which I do a lot. So I just wanted to say something about that, because if you're anything like me and you have struggled by taking instructions in your meditation, or you want to find ways to be able to quiet your mind without having to sit like an hour in a dark room, this is maybe something you could try as well. So I will link it in the description, because these are just 10 minutes of calm sounds and a very calm voice telling you to just notice different parts of your body. And I have found that when I'm so in my mind most of the time, the best way to stop being in my mind for a while is actually to just focus on my body. Because that takes the focus away from thoughts, right? So, it's 10 minutes and I'm just sitting on the bus with my earplugs in, listening to this with my eyes closed while the bus is going like this. But it's fine. It's working, at least sometimes. Other times my mind is too busy, so I can't get really into it, but at least it does something for me. And it's a great way to try to just incorporate these pauses in your head when you have the time to take 10 minutes to listen to that. And then I was at work for 8 hours and I spent another hour getting home, half asleep. And then I got home and ate dinner and just did these normal things I do in my house. I only have about 4 hours from I get home till I need to go to bed. So it's kind of limited what I can do. And so after eating and cleaning up after myself and editing the video from the day before and posting it, there's not really much left to be done. But that's also not the point though, is it? Because this experiment or challenge, personal growth challenge of mine, is about how I feel. And it's based on the fact that feelings come from thoughts. So what I think determines how I feel. And that means the important stuff is not what I do during a day, it's what's going on in my mind, right? And a lot of things can go through your mind when you're at work or on your way to and from work or doing stuff when you get home. We all know this, especially when you're alone in your own company, like I've been today after work. There's just so much room for thoughts about everything, about yesterday and 10 years ago and 10 years from now and how am I going to do this and that, and you know the drill, right? And as I said in the beginning of this video, today wasn't very eventful. And what I mean by that is not just the fact that I didn't do so much other than going to the gym and to work. What I also mean is that there wasn't a high level of activity in my mind. And I also didn't have these spikes in mood. Like I wasn't happy-go-lucky all of the day. And I wasn't sad or worried either. And what I'm realizing now is that's actually a win. Because knowing me and my mind, I normally have a lot of spikes in my mood these days, as I've been talking about lately. And I think a lot. So what I just realized is I didn't think a lot today, or, I think what I mean is my thoughts were very neutral, as in they didn't lead to very strong emotions, either negative or positive. And I have to say, when I first started using this recipe of mine a couple of years ago, when I actually became the happiest person I know by thinking on purpose, I was so happy and so flying high every day for weeks and months. So when I went back to having these kind of mediocre days, I saw it as something bad, because I thought I was supposed to be flying high all of the time after what I've gained and learned. But now I see that since after that, when I stopped using it on purpose all of the time and let other thoughts get in my way, leading me to want to do this experiment where I actually practice what I preach for 4 weeks to leave this version of me that's constantly nagging about things behind, I'm now realizing that it's a very good thing having a day with neutral mood, because that also means I haven't been worrying a lot. I haven't been asking questions about a lot of things in my life that I normally do. Like the stuff that needs to be done, or how I'm gonna accomplish things, or something that happened a week ago, or something that I'm preparing for in a month. I don't even know all of the thoughts that go through my mind in a day, because they are many. But the thing is, neutral thoughts that don't lead to a lot of strong emotions, they are fine. They are welcome in my head. Because the thing is, I don't need to be walking around on pink clouds or being this happy-go-lucky person every day. What I want in my life is more the lack of negative emotion, the lack of worrying, the lack of overthinking, the lack of spiraling. I'm very good at spiraling normally. So it's actually a win to celebrate that I felt neutral today. And I had happy moments, but I can't remember any very stressed or agitated or irritated moments. Even though I came home to more chores and all of these things that normally makes me react in a negative way. It was just like, okay, I just went through my day. I spent my energy doing things instead of thinking about them, which is great. I'm just on day 3 here, so I'm sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but I hope you're following me, and if you don't, please let me know so I can elaborate. But I think we also need to celebrate the days that are just fine or mediocre, as long as they mean that we haven't been digging ourselves down in our thoughts. We just showed up. You know, today was this day where I just showed up. And it was fine. And it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't lousy either. And I feel like it was unrelated to my external circumstances, which is my main goal, right? I want my emotions to not be so easily affected by the things or situations or people around me. I want my emotions to come from me thinking on purpose. And that's also like thinking on autopilot, as I talked about yesterday. It's not something that I want in my life, because then I just have these knee-jerk responses to everything, like sitting on the bus for over an hour. My automatic response to that would be, blah, I'm wasting hours of my day here. But I didn't have this automatic response to it. I just showed up and I sat there on the bus and I listened to my meditation and I looked out the window and I just had a perfectly fine start to my day. So let's actually give ourselves credit for and celebrate those days that are just fine, if our other days has been less than fine, you know? And I actually think, I actually talked about this in a video before, a couple of months ago, where if you're having a very low mood, you can't go from 0 to 100 all at once, because since our mood comes from what we're thinking about and focusing on, we have to kind of gently guide our thoughts and emotions up this ladder, kind of step by step. So if you're feeling very low or depressed even, and then you suddenly wake up one day feeling angry, that is actually moving up the scale, because anger is a more productive feeling and a feeling of more energy behind it than just being empty, you know? And so then from anger, it's easier to go up the scale again to maybe just tired. And then from tired to, okay, having a bit of hope that it can get better, etc. I don't know why I went into all of this now, but I think, yeah, my point is just we all start somewhere, so we can't expect to go from nothing to everything all at once. We have to realize that it's a process, and we have been programming our mind for years and years and years, so maybe we have these typical automatic responses to things and situations that we meet in our everyday lives. But then all of a sudden we can find ourselves reacting or responding to them differently, or not responding at all. And then even though that might not seem like a big thing from the outside because we're not so happy, it's still better than what it was. So I think maybe today's most important lesson for me is that remember that everything is movement and everything is contrast. So don't measure myself against where I want to be like the main goal all of the time. Just measure myself with yesterday. And then it's so much easier to see how we're constantly progressing. So yeah, an uneventful but yet eventful day, I would say. Thank you.